Let's begin with the Ben Simmons saga. Our Tim Bontemps and Bobby Marks wrote an article today on ESPN.com that summarizes where Simmons and the Sixers are at this point. It has some interesting financial details, including the caveat about how Simmons' contract is paid out. There's a huge chunk of that money scheduled due on October 1st. So, Ramona, can you take us through the details here?
Well, there's two dates you need to know. Okay, September 28th is when camp starts. If Ben Simmons doesn't show up to camp, that's when his clock starts. October 1st, that's when the Sixers have to make a decision. That is when 25% of Ben Simmons' salary is due. That's $8.2 million, okay? That is when the first 25% is due for him. And so, you know, that is when they need to decide, are we actually going to withhold that? Or are we going to withhold that, or are we going to pay him and keep him being paid even if he doesn't show up? A couple of teams I talked to said that they wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers went that route as well. So it's a big decision for both sides.
All right, Perk, I'm going to ask you straight up. $8 million, that's a lot of coin. Would you give up $8 million?
Well, let me say this. It's roughly 6,500 languages around the world, okay? And I just one today, and you know what that language is? It's called facts, and here are the facts right here. Hell no, I would not give up whatever it is, $1 million. Here's what I always tell the young guys and tell guys in the NBA. Get your money. Get all the letters that you possibly can. Leave nothing on the table and give nothing back. At the end of the day, this is a job. I know it's entertainment to others, but the big priority is to get your dollars because it doesn't last long. And on top of that, right, be a true professional. All right, at this point last year, we were dealing with a similar situation with James Harden, and we were crucifying James Harden for not showing up to camp. And when he did show up to camp, not wanting to be there and the distraction that he caused. So we have to keep the same energy with Ben Simmons. I know he wants out, but at the end of the day, you're getting paid a lot of money to do your job. And by the way, nobody made Ben play bad. Doc Rivers kept Ben Simmons in the game last year when he should have took him out. This is on Ben Simmons. He has to be mentally tough. They booed Kobe Bryant when he went back to Philly. They booed Santa Claus when he was in Philly at one point in time. That's just what Philly is. But you have to get through it. But no, I'm not leaving $8 million on the table.
So don't think of it as leaving it on the table. Think of it as not going into your pocket right now. More like a deferred payment. Because Ben Simmons can not show up to camp. The Sixers can decide not to pay him. But if he gets traded later in the year, he can get that money back. They could pay him later in the year if they work it out. And it's a gambit, right? How long can you not get paid? I don't know how good his accountant is. I don't know how well he's saved. He seems to have nice things, but he's made a lot of money in his career. And so if you really do want to be traded and you are willing to go without a paycheck, this is your best way to force that issue. It is about leverage here, Perk. And right now, Ben Simmons' best leverage is to make things very uncomfortable on the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, if the Sixers decide, well, you know what? If he doesn't show up, we're going to pay him and keep things nice because maybe we can talk him back into coming back to the team eventually. They could do that and keep things nice. But what happens if you start like 4-6? What happens if you start 3-7? Now you're paying a guy not to work for a team that should be a lot better.
It sounds like Perk's dog is not happy with the $8 million not hitting the direct deposit on time for anyone, let alone Ben Simmons or even Perk. So Perk, what do you make of that? Even if it's deferred, is that okay for you, or you just say no? He's still got to show up.
I'm just talking about being a true professional, okay? Yeah. And I'm gonna dive a little deeper, right? We at the point about like NBA guys are at the point of their careers where the NBA has gotten to, where guys are able to make $30-40 million a year, right? So you had a generation of players like Larry Bird, Dominique Wilkins, Magic Johnson. Those guys paved the way for guys like Ben Simmons to be getting paid top dollar. And what I'm saying is Ben Simmons has an obligation as well to make sure he does his part to make sure that he shows up to work so it don't affect the younger generation so that the NBA can continue to pay players $200 million. Because what's going to happen is the CBA is going to come up and owners are going to say, well, we remember what happened with James Harden. We also remember what happened with Ben Simmons. And then all of a sudden, it's going to be a clause. All of a sudden, it's going to be a Ben Simmons or a James Harden rule. And it's not fair to the upcoming basketball players that have dreams of making it to the NBA or that are going to make it to the NBA, that they're not going to get the same opportunity to be blessed to make this type of money.
That's a great point, Perk. And I think the larger issue here for Ben Simmons is the reason he don't want to go back to Philly is because he didn't play well. People said some things that upset him. But the issue with him shooting at the free throw line or three-pointers, that's going to go with you wherever you get traded to. And so you either deal with it now or later.
And the Embiid part of this equation, where is that, Momo?
As far as Joel Embiid's concerned, he said what he said. He put it on Twitter. He put it out there. He put it out for everyone to see. He's fine with Ben Simmons. He would be fine with him coming back. Everyone appreciates Ben's talent. I think the issue for Ben is, can he come back, show his face in Philly, withstand those boos that Perk is talking about? Everybody knows that's going to come. Is there anything he can say or do to ingratiate himself back with the Sixers? In his mind, it's no. He just wants a fresh start. But you have 4 years left on your deal. And as Perk says, if you don't show up, they don't have to pay you. But not paying him in some ways doesn't help their leverage in trading him. And so I think this will be an interesting debate within the Sixers front office and around the league of how Philly handles this if Ben Simmons really does not show up.
What a game of chicken we've got here between Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers. It'll be fascinating to see how this all unfolds.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.